Okay, I'm going to show how I came up with a solution for this particular ball hitch for my e-bike. The e-bike I have is, let's see right here, TST R002. That's what it is. And this particular connector, it's available in two forms. This one I think is actually a little bit better. It's the newer version, version 2, but it has an aluminum connector here. And the way it's designed by default is to take, it has this piece right in here. If you look, it's got the hole through it for the through bolt that goes that way. But the problem is, you can see these holes here. It orients this clamp so that it is vertical. So it's designed for bikes with it to attach to the seat post. And that's all very well and good, but this particular bike has no seat post. As you can see, it's got a kind of a motorcycle type seat, so it wouldn't work. So what I wanted to do was attach it to the horizontal bar at the back behind the seat. And I had to come up with a solution to that, because as I said, this is designed so this would go in here, in the place of the piece that's in there at the moment. I'm going to explain. And the bolt goes through, and you see these holes, and if you can see the bolts right here, those would be oriented such that this part right here would be rotated 90 degrees in the other plane, so it'd be vertical instead of horizontal. So to solve it, I bought this piece right here. It's actually I'm going to put a link in the description. You may not be able to find the exact part. It took me a lot of looking to find it. But this is actually a shock mount. This is what this is for. Shock mount, actually, I think for motorcycle. But it has to be exactly 1.4. One and a. I think it's 1.25 inches wide. And so what I did was I bought the shock mount, and it has a through hole already right here. You can see where the bolt goes through. That's fine. But here it didn't have any holes at all, and that's also what I needed. So what I did was I just lined it up, and I drilled these two holes in here to line up with a mounting bolt, and then ran the mounting bolts through to that. And now that allows me to clamp this to the back of this. And you can see how this works. The other part's on the crawler I have. It's actually a Vevor, but it's the same thing as a hawk crawler. I'll get to that later. But anyway, I just basically took a piece of aluminum and bolted it to the hitch that goes on here. And then in turn, I bolted the hitch to the handle on the Vevor, and then it hooks right on here and clips. By the way, anybody who wants to know how this works, see, you push the hitch onto there and it'll open that much, and you can just slide it on. And of course, this has a ball joint, allows it to roll completely freely. But then in order to secure it, it's got this second bolt right here, and that'll prevent it from disconnecting, so you can turn that in like that, and now it won't go anywhere, but it'll still allow your whatever you're trailing behind you to work. So that's how I managed to get this to work. So anybody has a horizontal bar, that'd be my suggestion. Get one of these shock mounts, drill two holes that are, going this direction, and then bolt it up, and then you're good to go. As for the trailer I bought, it's a Vevor, and it is I said pretty much identical to the hawk crawler. The hawk crawler, I guess, from what I've been told lately, they are now shipping with no flat tires. The Vevor had regular inner tube tires, and the problem with it is, even if you want to add air to it, at least mine, there are no Schrader valves, so I don't know what the deal is with it. So I was like, yeah, I'm not keeping these regardless. I was intending to get rid of them anyway. So what I did was I threw away the inner tubes, which is easy because the wheels are all two-piece. They've got 5 bolts, and you just threw those away. And then I bought 4 big pool noodles, not the small ones, but the big ones. And then I put those in place of the tubes. It's a bit of a challenge, but I find the easiest way to do it is just get 2 long bolts that fit in for the bolt, in place of the bolts that hold the rims together. And then you just use 2 of those so you can clamp it together enough that you can put 3 of the right bolts that are ordinarily in place for the rims. And once you've got those snug down, then you can just slide out the 2 long bolts, because as I said, it's tough because it's tough. The pool noodle is going to make it hard to assemble the halves, but when you have the long bolts, that makes it easy. So you've got enough room, and then yeah, once you've done that, you can take out the extra long bolts and then snap them together. So basically, I bought $16 worth of pool noodles. They were $4 each. So rather than having to buy 4 brand new tires, plus they have different sizes, because it's almost impossible to find the tires that are on it. The tires are actually 14-inch. It's just about impossible to find them. And when you do, you wind up spending nearly as much as you do for the whole crawler. I wasn't going to do that. So there's my solution I came up with on my own. So I'm confident it'll work. But that's what I did.